What's up, Navigating Academia family? I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Just want to come at you to be able to answer a valued viewer's question. Today's question is, are online master's degrees actually worth it? Are they worth it financially? Are they worth it professionally? This is something where in this day and age, especially with so much of education being remote post-pandemic, a lot of people are wondering, okay, we've gone through this transformation where online degree programs weren't really the norm, let's just say 5-10 years ago, but now they're becoming more and more common. In fact, a lot of folks who before were not very comfortable with things like proprietary learning management systems or different types of platforms like, let's just say, a Coursera or an edX or a Udemy, there's a million of these things out there. Is this something where people should actually now consider online degree programs to be in kind of the same prestige category as more traditional in-person educational, not just educational systems, but educational degree programs? So that's what I want to talk about today. There obviously are reasons why online degree programs are worth it if, God forbid, you have a sick spouse or other family member, if you have kids and you can't uproot them and just move, and there's no local universities that have the types of programs that you're looking for. Obviously, these are reasons why these things would really make a lot of sense. Sometimes, though, these programs can be quite predatory. Higher education is really one of the best business models you can find if you're an investor, if you're a business person, especially these days with over 80% of all new faculty positions being adjunct positions, and with around half, and you'll see this in another video that I either will have posted already or I will be posting, where I actually took a look at the published data on adjunct professors, at least here in the United States, and found that the majority of them live at or below the poverty line if they're full-time adjunct professors, and a large percentage of adjunct professors do nothing but adjuncting. So unless you're lucky enough to be able to have somebody else financially assisting in supporting you in your household, this is kind of not a great situation, right? So it really is a great business model, though, and I always tell you guys on this channel in academia, if we follow the money, we can really learn a lot about the system of academia and how to actually be able to thrive within it. But usually when we think about academia, we're not thinking about that kind of very unsexy part of it, right? We're thinking about kind of the ivory tower and the bastion of knowledge and career improvement and these sorts of things. And obviously those play an overwhelmingly important role within academia as well. So there's kind of 4 points that I want to make today in this video. Why should you do an online master's program? Why should you consider one? Well, first of all, if you have the option between going to an online program, right, or an in-person program, I personally would always opt for the in-person program, all things being equal. And that last part is the most important thing. All things being equal, okay? And what I mean by that is that the prestige of the institution, the prestige of the program, if those things are all kind of the same, if the syllabi that you're looking at, it's like the actual course curriculum, everything you're going to be learning, if these things are comparable and you have to choose one, I do believe that the in-person option is the better option. But if it's something where you're limited by geography, or it's something where all the schools that are kind of around are ones that don't have the program you're looking for, or they do, but they're not programs where you can really kind of get connected with other individuals in your field or the faculty, they're just not the best. It happens, right? If that's the case, then absolutely you should consider an online program. Okay, so in terms of reasons to do a master's program in general, because a lot of people use a master's program as a stepping stone to be able to do a doctorate. If that's you, you want to make sure that the only real reasons, and I have other videos on this channel you should watch about, is doing a master's worth it, period, right? But those things also apply to whether or not you should do an online master's. So things, for example, like, do you have sufficient coursework in the area you want to do the doctorate in? So many of you guys, literally hundreds of you, I work with on an annual basis to be able to help you get ahead in your career in academia, to apply to your target grad schools, apply to your target postdoc programs, help you with interview prep, really grilling you, coming up with opportunities to be able to do mock master's thesis defenses or doctoral dissertation defenses, helping you guys prepare tenure track packets. everything that you guys would actually need to be able to get ahead in academia. I do coaching on all of those things, and I've helped countless numbers of you guys get into your target programs and get your target jobs. So if you guys ever want to book a one-on-one session with me, you can do that down here at this website below. But I've worked with so many of you who are non-traditional students, meaning that you didn't just go from undergrad and now you want to apply to your target doctoral program. No, it's something where maybe, you were a lawyer and now all of a sudden you want to be a social worker, right? That's awesome. But oftentimes, if you did only pre-law, undergraduate coursework and had one or two psych courses or social work courses, whatever it may be, something in behavioral health, then it would be wise to be able to do some additional coursework. And one way to be able to do that in a comprehensive fashion is to be able to get a master's, or maybe undergrad. For whatever reason, you just weren't able to focus on your coursework, and so your GPA was garbage, right? That's possible. And remember, there's no such thing as a good GPA. You need to find the target program. You need to take a look at what the median is, and then you need to be at or above the median. At or above the median could be 3.0. At or above the median could be 3.8 on a 4.0 scale, right? You need to figure that out by researching your programs thoroughly. If you're not quite sure what program's right for you, what target supervisor's right for you, or you're kind of struggling to figure out what type of degree program is right for you for your future, again, I do a lot of career planning or whatever with folks. So again, contact me down here below. But if it's something where you don't have a lot of coursework, or it's something where your undergrad GPA kind of sucked, right, then it's a great idea to be able to do a master's, or at least to be able to do some ancillary coursework. But it can't be, I cannot stress this enough, it cannot be pass-fail. I've had a number of clients who I care about very deeply who went and they did a master's, but the master's was a pass-fail master's, or all the courses were, pass-fail. No, this isn't going to help you at all. Okay, you need to make sure that you're getting grades and that you max out your GPA. Now, if you do that and you had you had like a 2.3 out of 4.0 GPA undergrad, and then all of a sudden you get a 4.0 in grad school, provided that your personal statement, and I help people, to be able to optimize the quality of their personal statements all the time. That's all I'm doing right now, like week in and week out. It's that time of year. But it's one of these things where if you have a strong narrative, if you can explain those weaknesses in a narrative fashion, which is usually, I have a 5-paragraph structure that I always, train people to use for their personal statements in the second paragraph, which is about your academic background, accomplishments, and so forth. That is the place you would put this, and you need to get ahead of it, right? If you can tell the narrative, if you can make a story out of it, then you're going to be good to go. Otherwise, it's going to be a genuine problem, okay? So you just need to make sure that not only do you max out the GPA, but then you handle it properly in the personal statement, even if you've got a letter writer who can mention that as well, okay? The next thing would be, like I said, if there's just no schools around you physically that you could go to, and you can't uproot yourself. You got family, you've got a partner who's working full-time that you're living with, whatever it is, you can't go anywhere, right? But there's a program that's gotten accredited, or just like a really great program that has name notoriety. The key thing if you want to get into a doctoral program is personal connections, right? Pick the doctoral program before you pick the master's, right? Why do that? Because you need to figure out where you want to be so you can reverse engineer everything, especially in terms of personal connections. It is a waste of your money to go to Harvard, let's just say, to be able to get a master's, because then you want to apply to, University of Tuscaloosa or something like this, and there's nobody at Harvard who's connected there. You need somebody who's going to be able to pick up the phone and make a call to your target supervisor, and that target supervisor pick up and be like, "Oh, hey, Jane, how are you doing?" Right? And Jane is somebody that they know, like, and trust, okay? They're not going to care that it's Harvard, okay? Insofar as if they have a very strong personal connection. They've been publishing for years with the person. They've known the person since they went to grad school, whatever, right? This is just like if your father gives you guidance on, hey, listen, I really think that this stock is a good stock pick right now, versus some random dude on the street is like, yo, let me give you some stock advice. Who are you more likely to trust? Frankly, the guy on the street may be right, but who are you more likely to trust? This is the exact same thing, right? Even if that random guy on the street is dressed up in a really gorgeous suit, It's the equivalent of like, going to Harvard, but then the people at Harvard don't know your target supervisor. It's a waste of your time, and it is a waste of your money, especially because some of these schools charge an arm and a leg. They charge a huge amount of money for you to get these degrees. The best thing you can do is to be able to find something that's reasonable so you don't take on ludicrous student loan debt, right? And then make sure that there is a sufficient amount of personal relationship opportunities between the people in your master's program, the faculty members, and the individual or individuals that you're interested in applying to do doctoral level work with. And you need to make sure that the work that you can do in your master's program can result in a combination, if you're missing any of these, of kind of the 8 most important things, right? Which are, making sure you max out that GPA, right, your grade point average, max out any test scores if you have to take standardized tests, make sure that you can get an amazing letter of recommendation, at least one, right? And remember, 3 letters of recommendation, right? Research, your academic life, and your practical life, whatever that means, right? This could also be like somebody just knows your personality really well. But let's say you want to be a social worker, like I mentioned before. Okay, you want to make sure you've got clinical experience, and your clinical supervisor should be the one who writes that letter talking about how you're the ish, right, when it comes to that, to clinical work, right? And so in addition to that, in addition to those things, you want that in-field experience, clinical experience, research experience. Even if you only want to be a clinician, it's still a good idea to get at least 1 semester's worth of research experience, if not 1 full year minimum. In addition to that, the 3 other things: conference presentations, could be a poster, could be a paper, could be a symposium, I don't care, right? But preferably not at like a university conference. It's meaningless. Sorry, it's meaningless. Trust me, I did them too, right? This isn't just me saying this. Okay, go to a conference that means something to your target doctoral supervisor. Okay, even before the master's, I want you to go to their CV. I want you to see what conferences they go to. Why? Because that means that those conferences, even if you've never heard of them, they have name cachet for that target supervisor, okay? And then in addition to that, you want to make sure that you've got at least 1 publication in a peer-reviewed journal with an impact factor, and then also personal connections, which always trumps everything. At the end of the day, personal connections and 1 publication, it's not going to get the job done, but that's going to put you above literally 90% of other applicants. So that's the best thing you can do. Obviously, if you can become an internal candidate, I have videos about that. Watch them. That is the most surefire way to get into a graduate program, be it master's or doctoral level, even the best doctoral programs. If you're an internal candidate, that's what it's all about. Watch those videos on the channel, okay? So that's my guidance in terms of doing online master's programs. Are they worth it? Again, it totally depends on the case. If you guys are curious about your individual case, trying to figure out, is it worth, dropping 40, 50 grand a year sometimes to be able to do one of these programs at a private university, it's best to be able to get kind of, some clarity on that first. And we can talk about this from a professional angle. We can talk about it from a personal angle and so forth. Book a session with me down below. Would love to be able to chat with you guys. All right, guys, lots of love. Peace. If you have any other questions, put them down in the comments below, and we'll take them from there. Bye-bye.